Hi, this is James Shug with Westpac London's mid-afternoon report for Monday the 12th of November. I've got commitments outside the office today. Also, it's a US holiday, Veterans Day, so market's very quiet. So I thought I'd get this report done a little bit earlier than normal. Also, very little to report. No significant economic data was released in Europe today, the UK. There's none on the US schedule. The only event of note is the EU finance ministers meeting, which starts in about 3 hours' time. That's 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Brussels, where they're going to discuss the Greek budget position and whether or not to grant Greece the 31 billion euro bailout tranche that they've been expecting since June, but up until now have not been able to meet the conditions required to have the funds released. Now, the word is that the answer will be no, not yet. So Greece is scrambling around trying to find 5 billion euros that it needs to repay on Friday. One possibility is that they issue a short-term treasury note, possibly tomorrow. But the problem there is that the Greek banks that would buy that note have to borrow the funds from the ECB, and the collateral that they can put together isn't sufficient. We reckon they're about 1.5 billion euros short. So there's ongoing uncertainty about exactly what's going to happen there. I suspect at the last minute, later this week, something will be pulled out of the hat yet again as a temporary measure to avoid a Greek default on Friday. But the longer term issue remains very much up in the air about that bailout tranche. A decision is probably going to happen around the end of November, perhaps early December, when the EU, IMF and ECB troika of officials have completed their report into the Greek budget and debt outlook. So that's the main story to watch for later on this afternoon. There was some M&A talk in the US, which has supported markets there. Some markets are open despite the holiday there. We had some weak Japanese numbers earlier today. Japanese GDP contracted at about a 3.5% pace, annualised pace in the third quarter, and will probably do so again in the fourth quarter, although not as steeply. Meaning Japan is probably in recession again. And we know that numbers later this week will almost certainly confirm that Europe's still in recession. So with the US at risk of recession from the fiscal cliff next year, markets remain justifiably jittery. But here's some numbers for you. US markets aren't open yet, but in the futures markets, we've got, let's have a look. In the futures markets, we have a gain of around 0.2% on the Dow at the moment. The broader S&P 500 futures are up about 0.3%. European markets are trading and they're kind of mixed. The numbers there for the FTSE, it's up 0.25%. The French market's down 0.25%. The German market up 0.25%. The Spanish market's down 1% so far today, and the Italian market up 0.1%. In the commodity markets, oil's off 0.5%. It's at $85.63 a barrel. Copper's up 1/3% at 345 cents a pound, and oil up 0.4% at $1,738 an ounce. The Aussie dollar, it's been climbing through the London session. It's at 1.044 at the moment. It was a little bit below that 1.04 level last night. So Aussie dollar doing a little bit better. We've got our friends at the National Australia Bank putting out their latest business survey on Tuesday, and also the head of economic analysis at the Reserve Bank is giving a talk in Sydney on the Australian housing market. So two things to watch for there. Okay, I'll be back again tomorrow with a more detailed report, I'm sure.